Hey guys, welcome to a brand new video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back to my channel. If you guys are interested in lean bulking and building as much muscle mass as possible with also minimizing the fat gain, then this video is for you. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I went from around 163-ish to the end of my bulk, which is 172, through my diet basically. And I'll show you guys in every meal the exact calories and the protein and the macronutrient breakdown. I usually try to aim for 2,500 calories a day. Roughly, you know, if there's error, right, minus 100 to plus 100 calories, then that's okay. Protein, I try to aim for around 150 minimum every day, 150 minimum. Usually I get around 160 though. So you'll see exactly how I eat, the macro breakdown, why I eat what I eat, and how you can incorporate some of these into your diet as well. So without further ado, let's go on to breakfast. So I have my breakfast slash pre-workout meal with me. So on this side, I have 5 eggs, green onions, and about half a cup to a cup, let's just say 3/4 of rice, because usually I'd have more than that, like around 1 to 2 cups of rice, but my leftover rice, there was barely any, so I had to use all of it. If I had that rice, right, I wouldn't have cooked this, but I have this in front of me, which is the 葱油饼. That's the Chinese way of saying it, but it's essentially a scallion pancake, which is also another substitute carb source. And then on the right here, I have V8 low sodium juice, which if you guys saw in my last video is kind of what I use to replace vegetables if I don't feel like eating vegetables or fruits this meal. Hold on a second. I'm gonna add something to this meal. Frozen blueberries. When I mentioned fruits earlier, I just remember that I still have these from probably a long time ago, and the good thing with these is that it doesn't really go bad because it's frozen. So gonna be using a gonna be using a fork because this shit gets all over your hands. This always ketchup, eggs and ketchup, the holy grail of sauces for eggs in my opinion, or sriracha, but I've been trying to cut down on my spicy stuff because of my acne. Yeah, this is breakfast, and I would say that this is a more carb heavy meal. I like to eat a lot of carbs before I go to the gym in about an hour and a half, and I'll put the full macro breakdown right here for you guys to see just how many carbs, proteins, fats I'm eating. Pretty decently high in protein. The reason I'm eating this much is because I only try to eat 3 meals a day because I don't really like to take time out of my day to eat food. I'd rather eat 3 solid meals a day rather than like 5 small meals and have to always be in the kitchen and eating, and it takes a lot of time, you know? So protein isn't really what gives you the energy that you need, it's the carbs, right? Which is why I have a whole plethora of carbs today. And then fats are just kind of there to keep the food a little slower digesting, so I don't go hungry in like 30 minutes, which I probably won't with all this food. This is usually what I eat for breakfast, except I added blueberries because I just remember I had them. Also, this is very important to mention, V8 low sodium juice. It's not only packed with micronutrients, which obviously because it's like a vegetable juice, that's one of the reasons I drink it, but another important reason, and it's something that a lot of people neglect in their diet, is actually potassium. Potassium is so underrated in a diet because, like sodium, it's an electrolyte. A lot of people just think, oh, I'm dehydrated, I just need to drink more water, or if there's an imbalance, I just need to cram the sodium. Sodium. Like that's the only thing that's important, but no. Potassium is actually really important as well. It works in tandem with sodium to keep those muscle cramps away, to aid in the muscle recovery process. It could be a reason for muscle fatigue. If you're lacking potassium, it will kind of regulate your muscle fatigue as well. This shit in this cup has around 800 to 900 milligrams of potassium. This is why I eat what I eat. I'm gonna eat this and I'll see you guys at lunch. All right guys, so I finally made it back from the gym, and this is supposed to be my lunch. but it's 7 p.m. almost, like 6:30 p.m. and I'm having my second meal of the day. 1 second. Ah, fuck! The sauce of the day is mustard. All right, so this is basically rice, ground beef, and onions, all stir fried together with mustard on top. I eat this so often, like this is probably my most valued meal because it takes me like 5 minutes to make and it's super delicious, pretty high in protein. I should name this. Maybe I'll call it mustard on that meat. So cringe. Anyways, mustard on that meat. The reason I'm eating this is because it's high in protein, high in carbs because of the rice. And here, for some extra health and fitness, I have a full apple cut into slices and then this. And you might be thinking, what is this? Because it doesn't really look like peanut butter, right? This is actually PB Fit is what I think it's called, powder. And it's basically peanut powder without the fat. And it's super good because it's higher in protein, tastes almost identical to peanut butter. Obviously, peanut butter is gonna taste better, but this is a good alternative. As you can see, I'm adding stevia into it so that it tastes a little sweeter, and then I like mine a little creamier. I don't like mine too watery, so I am a little bit conservative when it comes to the water in this thing. And this is just for me to dip the apples in, like this. I'll put the macro breakdown to my right over here. And yeah, the reason I'm eating like this is, like this is usually a typical post-workout meal for me. The only thing is I usually eat this or chicken. Like I replace the meat with chicken and add ketchup as the sauce because chicken tastes better with ketchup. Beef tastes better with mustard, in my opinion. This meal is a little higher in fat because it is 8812 ground beef from Costco. And fat is usually something that slows down the absorption process. So ideally, you don't want that much fat after a workout. It's just, I kind of felt like eating this today and I eat this so often. So it's not that big of a deal, but it's just something to optimize if you are really trying to optimize your diet. Which is why I opted for PB2 Fit instead of regular peanut butter, because again, peanut butter is gonna add to the fat, right? Which I don't really want as much in this meal. This meal, I wouldn't say is that high in fat, but definitely higher in fat than if I went with chicken breast, right? That's a no-brainer right there. And yeah, higher in carbs to replenish my glycogen stores. And of course, high in protein to repair my muscles. So I'm gonna eat this. I got another meal coming, which will be my dinner, which technically this could count as my dinner because it's already almost 7. But yeah, I'll catch you guys then. All right, guys, so dinner is served. Even though I didn't really cook anything for this, this is what I like to call the tour of Asia, because as you can see, it has the salmon sashimi from Japan. And then, well, this didn't come from Japan, but you know, it's a Japanese dish. And then the kimchi is Korean, right? Obviously. And then the rice is just Asia in general. This is something I look forward to a lot. Not particularly today because I feel like I just ate my previous meal, even though it's been 4 hours, but that was like a pretty filling meal. But another thing is I couldn't find the exact calories and protein for sashimi, or the one that I have, my parents order, and so there's no calorie label, so I have no idea how many calories and protein it is. But I did some research online and it did say that I guesstimate around 6 to 8 ounces has around 400 calories, give or take, because it is salmon, so it has more fats, and usually around 36 grams of protein. So that's pretty good macros, and a little bit of carbs, the rice, and then the kimchi for the vegetables. And in here, the wasabi and soy sauce mix for my sashimi. And the reason I'm having this is because I usually try to aim to eat fish 2 to 3 times a week for the omega-3 benefits. The fish, the omega-3s help with brain function, brain development, heart function, reducing inflammation, just a whole plethora of health benefits that come from fish. And it's good to, you know, have a variety of protein, right? Eggs, then meat, then fish for today, for example. So this will round me pretty well in terms of carbs and fats, but I do need a little more protein after this based on my calculations. The macros will be put again on the screen right here. I will dig into this now, and I will have another meal slightly after this, although it's getting pretty late, so I have to get it in pretty quickly, which will just be pure protein, and you'll see that in my next meal. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so it's around 12:30 a.m. and I'm gonna have this plant protein powder. This is what I have. I have 1 scoop in a bowl and I have 1 scoop in a cup. And you might be wondering, what are you doing here, Sonny? Like, why do you have it split like this? So basically the serving size is 2 scoops. 2 scoops, 150 calories. It's mainly protein, as you can see, 25 grams of protein, but that's 2 scoops, right? And oh yeah, I forgot to mention, I do like this because it has 10 essential amino acids, which is mainly found in, you know, different meats. I probably have a good amount in my system already, but, you know, better safe than sorry. Better to include more. So I have 2 here, right? And you're like, you might be thinking, why not just put it in 1 cup? What I notice is that this protein does not mix well. So like when I first got this, like last week, I made the mistake of putting in 3 scoops of that protein into 1 small cup, which is the same cup I have down here. And oh my God, like oh my God, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Like it was like so clumpy. Like literally, I tried mixing it for like 10 minutes and it was basically still a solid. It was a solid. And not only that, but it also tastes pretty bad. You know, like it's not very appetizing. And you might be wondering, why am I choosing to use plant protein? Well, if you look at my face, I do got acne, and my dermatologist told me that something that could be a cause of acne is dairy. So I'm gonna try to cut out my whey protein I usually take and any dairy in my life. I'm gonna try to mix these 2. Oh, I also forget, I do take creatine every single night, usually about a spoon. I don't measure my creatine, but I try to get around 5 to 10 milligrams of creatine a day when I can remember it. Sometimes I forget. That will round off the final meal. And now I'll put the macros on the screen of this. I mean, you already saw it because I showed you the bag, but recap and then the total macros for the day. As you can see, I did go a little bit over 2,500 calories, but that's okay because I worked out today, you know. 2,500 calories is, I would say, kind of low for someone like me, but that's because I live a pretty sedentary lifestyle. I don't really get that much exercise outside of the gym, so I don't need to be eating so many calories, you know. I can gain weight on just 2,500 on average. So yeah. All right, guys, so this is going to be just a recap of what I went through during the day. The reason I made this is because I feel like my vlog part of the video wasn't super educational. I just wanted to like help you guys, you know? So I thought it was, you know, hopefully it was a fun watch, but I want you guys to learn something solid from this. So I decided to write this up and give you guys a solid lean bulking strategy. First, we have go to calculator.net/calorie-calculator.html. So what this website is essentially it has you input your weight, your height, and your activity level, and it will calculate how many calories you need to eat to maintain your body weight, right? And this is important because you need to know your maintenance calories, which is the calories that it takes to maintain your body weight, in order to know your lean bulking calories. So how do we find the lean bulking calories? We take our maintenance calorie intake and add 200 to 400 calories. So for example, if your maintenance is 3,000 calories, you would add 200 to 400 to that. So 3,200 to 3,400 calories. And once you have those calories set, you need to determine now your protein, because it comes down to the calories in protein really. So your protein should be at least 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight minimum. This will ensure that you are building quality muscle on top of your caloric surplus, which is caused by these extra calories. The important thing is this website is just an estimator, so it's not the end-all be-all. If you guys are super serious about putting on muscle and minimizing the body fat percentage that you put on, you guys will know that this estimate is not good enough, right? So you could be tracking, eating this many calories, and your weight is stagnant. You might lose weight, you might gain weight too fast. So you need to be not only tracking, right? Track through MyFitnessPal every single day, weigh everything you're eating, which sounds tedious, but it really you don't have to weigh everything. Like if you're out with friends, you can kind of guesstimate how many calories you're eating, but it will, the more you weigh, the more you will be able to guesstimate. Like everything I ate here, I guesstimated, and then I hand calculated everything at the end, and I ended up with 200 more calories than my goal, but that's also because I trained that day, so I did burn a little extra calories. So that's fine for me. Like as you can see here, 47 calories. In the beginning, I said my goal was 2,500. That's enough for me to gain weight in a lean bulking fashion. I've only gotten this far, been able to guesstimate because I spent 3 years tracking in my life. So I'm not an expert, but I'm pretty good with seeing a food and being like, okay, it's X calories. Obviously, I'm not God. I don't actually know, but I'm pretty close, I would say. But that only comes with tracking consistently. So might as well start doing that if you're not. But if you are tracking, otherwise you'll never know if you're actually putting on weight, right? Pretty self-explanatory. You might be thinking, well, I'll just see if I gain weight every day, you know? But that's not a good measure because your weight fluctuates every day. Just because you gained weight one day could be the volume of your food. You could have not taken a shit, but yeah, I mean, when you weigh yourself, do it after you take a shit, you know, to keep things consistent. So yeah, weigh yourself every day of the week, take the median weight. So let's say this is your week and this is your median weight, right? You take the median weight of the next week and then the next. And if there's a trend of a gain of 0.5 to 1 pound per month, then you're on a great track. That is, I would say, the best lean bulking metric. If you're gaining 2 pounds a month, 3 pounds, 5 pounds a month, you might be overdoing it, so you need to lower your calories unless that's your goal, right? If you're losing weight or your weight's staying stagnant, you gotta up the calories. So that's what I mean, that the calorie website is not the end-all be-all. You gotta do your own experimentation. It's just a starting point for you. Now that we got that out of the way, assuming we now have a good calorie intake and protein, let's talk about how we divvy up the calories and the protein and the macronutrients, right? So first thing I want to say is try to split the protein evenly. So don't have, if you're trying to eat 150 grams of protein, don't have a meal that's 120 grams and then your other 3 meals are 10 grams or something. You know, that's kind of, you could do that, and at the end of the day, it's the protein content is what counts. It doesn't really matter that much, but first of all, you'll probably feel not that good if you eat that much in one meal. And second, you know, you just want to keep a lot of protein in your system all day round, right? Not just that one huge meal. So the way I have it, if you look here, 45 grams of protein in the first meal, 55 grams, second meal, 36 and 25. So if you look here, this meal has the most amount of protein, and that's because it's my post-workout meal. Sorry, not my pre-workout meal. It has the most amount of protein because that's when my muscles need it the most. That's when it's broken down. Try to make it even throughout your meals, but if you want to make one meal stand out in terms of protein, make it your post-workout meal. That is highly recommended. My second tip is center your carbs around the workout. So as you can see here, I have a lot of carbs around my workout. It doesn't have to be to this extreme. I just like to do it to this extreme. Like, look at the carb ratios, like 53, 5, 130, 160. You might be like, wow, like it's so unbalanced. It doesn't have to be this unbalanced. I just like it like this because, like, first of all, I'm only eating 3 meals a day. I just like to eat bigger meals around my workout. Like, I usually go to the gym around an hour and a half after I eat my first meal. By then, the food is pretty digested, you know. I'm not going to the gym immediately after, so I can afford to eat quite a bit before, and then after, I'm just hungry. I'm just hungry as fuck, right? Like, I just want to eat a lot, so I just allow myself to eat a lot of carbs, a lot of fat, a lot of protein, kind of go crazy, and then the other two, usually after my post-workout meal, I'm not that hungry, so I don't eat that much, you know, but that's just kind of like how my body likes to operate. If your body can't take that much carbs around your workout, don't force it, right? But I'm just saying, if you want to optimize your workout and your recovery, I do recommend that you, like, your pre and your post-workout meals have the 2 most carbs out of all your other meals. That's what I mean by center carbs around your workout. Now, lower fat intake after workout, and this is because fat slows down absorption, and when you just finish a workout, you need the nutrients and the carbs to go right to your glycogen stores and the protein to go straight to repairing the muscle, like, as soon as possible. It doesn't make that big of a difference. So this tip I wouldn't say is monumental, but this is something that would help as well. I had a little more fats than I wanted in my second meal. Sometimes I'll switch out the ground beef to chicken breasts to lower the fat, but yeah, this is my third tip. Those are my tips to lean bulk as successfully as possible. Hopefully this helps you guys. We can go into the micronutrients as well, but there's so much to unpack there. So I just wanted to focus mainly on the macronutrients, which is the carbs, fat, and protein, and the calories. That is the focus of today. But bottom line, try not to be deficient in any vitamins or minerals. If you do, supplement with them. Try to eat as many fruits and vegetables, you know. If you look here, every meal, I'm trying to have a fruit or vegetable, right? So meal 1, I have the V8 low sodium juice, which is my vegetables, and blueberries, frozen blueberries. Meal 2, I have onion, and I also have the apple. And then meal 3, I have the kimchi as the vegetable, and then meal 4 is just plant protein, so it's plant stuff. So, like, every meal I have that. Hope this helps you guys. Hope you guys achieve your goals with these tips, and if you have anything that you would like to ask me, please ask me in the comments below. I appreciate it, y'all. Alright guys, so you made it to the end. If you guys have made it this far, I want you guys to give yourself a pat on the back, because this video was 23 minutes, which I didn't realize when I was filming this. So there should be like an award for y'all who have watched all the way through, because my attention span can never, you know? That's just me. Y'all have great attention spans, or you guys are just hungry to learn. Also, currently I weigh 170 right now, so like on average, you know? And my next competition, which will be definitely in a couple of months, it won't be anytime soon, will be in the 75, 74 kilo class, and that will be 163 pounds, which means I will have to cut. So if my cutting diet is something y'all want to see, comment that in the comment section below. Even if you don't want to see it, I'm probably gonna film one. I don't care. Like, I'm probably gonna film one and post it, so you're getting it anyways. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to check out some of my other videos, they'll be on this side right here. And make sure to subscribe if you are loving my videos. It keeps me going. So I'll see you guys in the next one. And have a great